Hello, everyone, and welcome to Designing Characters, where I explain turning characters from my mind and other media into characters for Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition. Here, we focus on builds and personality traits, utilizing standard array or point buy with D&D Beyond's layout. Today, we're working on Megumi Fushiguro. I probably murdered that pronunciation as well. As my second character from Jujutsu Kaisen, because the show is amazing, and so is the manga, and you should read and watch it and everything else, and I probably have a problem. The characters in this show are all amazing, but Megumi is a personal favorite of mine. Of course, that doesn't help the fact his abilities are a mess of too many different things, so here we go, let's do this anyway. Besides, after,
完全ブサイクビートだ
I know my boy became a favorite for a lot of others too. So, what do we need for our quiet kid in class turned curse energy sorcerer that also likes to throw hands despite being a summoner? First off, summons. Something difficult to acquire early on in 5th edition, but we'll do what we can. Second, we need the ability to actually engage in hand-to-hand combat, with some superhuman feats of speed and some weaponry usage. Finally, we need to be able to create, manipulate, and enhance things based around shadow manipulation for illusions and an imperfect domain expansion. Also, teleporting. Starting out, let's look at your base ability scores. Put your 15 in dexterity. Even at a young age, you were throwing hands with bullies and beating up most of the thugs on your block. Your 14 will go into wisdom. This represents your cursed energy, ki, later on, your natural perception, and your good judgment and willpower. Your 13 will go into charisma. You're the makeshift leader of your party for a reason, and even if you don't try to be likable, you can be. Next, put your 12 in constitution. You're not as durable as the tank of your party, but you're not completely squishy either. Though when you take direct hits from the things you constantly fight, you tend to not last long. Your 10 can go into intelligence. I'd like it to be higher, but we just need other things much more. Finally, your 8 will go into strength. You're in good shape, but you don't have any astounding feats of raw power. Now on to race. You're very much a variant human. You were born with cursed energy, and you were pretty much superhuman even as a child. As a variant human, you'll gain a +1 to dexterity and charisma to help even out your uneven scores. You'll also gain an additional proficiency in a skill and language. Take Perception and Abyssal to represent your study into the occult and the dark side of the world. For your feat, take Ritual Caster for the Wizard class. This grants you 2 ritual spells and the ability to learn further ritual spells as you progress through your story. Use this to take the Find Familiar spell. This will give you your first summon, though it's only a small animal. It's excellent for scouting and information gathering. For the second spell, take Identify, allowing you to delve into your lessons on ancient magic to identify any cursed objects, magic items, that you and your party come across to understand their exact effects. When it comes to background, we have some spoilers, so you've been warned. But it's a character build, of course there will be references and spoilers. In any case, as a child, you were constantly fighting with bullies of all ages, beating up thugs on your block pretty casually. Going by this, we're going to be taking a variant option on the folk hero background. The hero side of this will stem from your past of beating up local gangsters and bullies around the village. This will grant you proficiency in athletics, acrobatics, herbalism, and poisoner's kits. Trained in physical movements as well as how to make and cure toxins. This also grants you the background feature of rustic hospitality. You fit in amongst the common folk with ease. Your fame for standing up for the little guy basically grants you a free place to stay and rest, while also shielding you from the law if necessary, though they won't put their lives in danger for you. For traits, I'd recommend traits based around a focused desire to uphold order, law, and good, with little hesitation or care about the death of those that you deem unlawful or evil. Helm would probably be a decent faith basis, and negative traits could be your lack of greed or individual ambition, as well as suffering a merciless outlook for those that you deem to not deserve to live. Now, moving on to class. This is going to be a bit of a mess, just a heads up. If sorcerers could summon things, then my life would be a lot easier. And it might just be easier to talk to your DM about maybe allowing your summoner to do that. If you can manage that, then honestly, going almost pure sorcerer and mixing in some monk would Probably be your best bet, frankly. But I assume your DM is cold, heartless, and refuses to customize anything. So, instead, here we go. Due to being born with latent cursed energy from a family line of sorcerers that also tended to dabble in the Feywild and Shadowfell, we're going to start off as a sorcerer. As a level 1 sorcerer, you gain a piddly d6 hit die. Along with this, you get the more important benefits, however, specifically proficiency in your constitution and charisma saving throws. This will be incredibly important later for your summons. Along with this, you gain proficiency in daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows. Not that you really use any of those, although you have occasionally picked up a quarterstaff, I suppose. As well, you gain proficiency in 2 skills. For this, take Insight and Arcana, reflecting your ability to read a situation, people, and your understanding of cursed energy and spirits, in this case, monsters and magic. Next, choose your sorceress origin. Take Shadow Magic, reflecting your family's connections to the Shadowfell. Through this, you gain 2 unique abilities that will help you significantly as time passes. The first is Eyes of the Dark, which helps to nullify your dumb human eyes, granting you 120 feet of dark vision, though it will not see through magical darkness like Devil Vision will. The second benefit is Strength of the Grave, a unique ability you can perform once per long rest that allows you to make a charisma saving throw when you hit 0 hit points against the damage dealt, and if you succeed, you are able to get back up at 1 hit point. So when a final boss kicks you into a wall and nearly kills you with 1 hit, you can still get back up grinning like a maniac and release a powerful spell for a counterattack. Finally, as a sorcerer, you gain 4 cantrips and 2 level 1 spells. Take Light. Wherever there is shadow, there must be light, and this will help your party members that don't have super dark vision actually see. Mage Hand, using the shadows to form a spectral hand to grasp and maneuver things from a distance for various situations, is pretty handy. Please kill me. Along with this, take Prestidigitation for a variety of basic spell effects that allow you to create tiny illusions, clean yourself of blood and ichor, small flashes of shadow, or small runes. Next, take Shape Water. Turn the water pitch black and use it in conjunction with your movements for some fun shadow water flavor. Creativity is key with this spell. It can do all kinds of stuff. For your 2 first level spells, take Detect Magic. You've been able to sense magical energy from a young age, and this represents that. Along with this, take Shield. Flavor it as shadows rising up around you in a barrier to guard you against harm at the last minute. Now, at level 2, immediately hop over to Monk. After all, as a youth, you weren't summoning creatures so much as beating people's faces in with your bare hands. This will grant you a d8 hit die and proficiency in simple weapons and short swords. Along with this, you also gain the Unarmored Defense ability, causing your AC to become 10 plus your Dexterity modifier plus your Wisdom modifier when not wearing armor. Those simple clothes you wear are most assuredly not armor. Finally, you get Martial Arts, allowing you a variety of effects such as using your unarmed strikes as finesse weapons that deal 1d4 damage a hit, and as you level up will continue to grow stronger. You also gain the ability to use your bonus action for an additional unarmed attack if you used your action for the attack action as well, explaining why you were beating up people so much older than you between magic and multiple attacks around. At level 3, take Monk. Second level monks gain access to Ki, allowing you to now channel that energy you used for your magic directly through your body for a variety of effects in return for burning your Ki points. These effects include Flurry of Blows to turn your bonus action into 2 attacks, Patient Defense to use the dodge action as a bonus action, or Step of the Wind, allowing you to use the disengage or dash actions as a bonus action, as well as doubling your jump distance for the turn. This also grants you Unarmored Movement, increasing your base movement by 10 feet for a total of 40. This will increase as your monk level does as well. Take level 4 in Monk. Third level monks gain the ability Deflect Missiles, allowing you to reduce the damage of an incoming long-range weapon attack by 1d10 plus your Dexterity modifier plus your monk level and damage. This does cost your reaction, but if it reduces the damage to 0, you can burn a Ki point to throw it at a new target. You also gain a monastic tradition. Take the way of the shadow, following your family's teachings. This grants you Shadow Arts, allowing you to duplicate the effects of certain spells. As an action, you can spend 2 Ki points to cast Darkness, Dark Vision, Pass Without Trace, or Silence without material components. You also gain the Minor Illusion cantrip for free, which is why we didn't take it earlier. You're now dabbling properly into your shadow manipulation abilities. Congratulations. Take your next 2 levels in Monk. Level 4 monks gain several abilities. First, an ability score improvement, and in this instance, you want to increase your dexterity by 2 for an 18 total. Along with this, you gain Slow Fall. This allows you to reduce any damage you'd normally take from falling by 5 times your monk level. Very useful if you don't want to be a goldfish. 5th level monks gain an extra attack, as well as access to Stunning Strike, allowing you to attempt to stun a target anytime you land a hit on them for a key point, forcing them to make a Constitution saving throw against your key DC. If they fail, they are stunned until the end of your next turn. Now, at level 7, we'll be switching over to Druid as you begin dabbling into the more advanced arts of your family, specifically enchantments and summons through your family's teachings. Level 1 Druids gain proficiency in light and medium armor, as well as shields as long as they are non-metal. Not that it really matters to us. This grants you the ancient and secret language of the Druids, gaining Druidic as a language representing your family's ancient teachings. Along with this, you gain a new spellcasting tree connected to your Druid spells. For rules on multiclassing spellcasters for spell slots and other options, please see page 165 of your player's handbook. I promise it's not as complicated as it seems. With your 2 new Druid cantrips, take Guidance to amplify your ability checks and a bit of Cursed Energy, adding 1d4 to any ability check the target of your cantrip makes. Next, take Resistance, allowing you to do the same against saving throws, adding a 1d4 to any saving throw you're about to make, as long as you time it before you trigger whatever requires that saving throw. These 2 spells are phenomenal if you remember to use them and can pay attention enough into your environment to know when to use them. You also gain 3 first-level spells. Take Absorb Elements to give you resistance against an elemental damage type, and a chance to infuse your next attack with your punch using some of that energy you absorbed. Next, you'll want Cure Wounds. When you start suffering damage, infuse yourself with Cursed Energy to force yourself back into the fight as the shadows practically hold you together. Finally, take Entangle, reflavor the vines as Binding Shadows, turning a 20-foot cube of space into difficult terrain that forces any creatures in or passing through it to make a strength saving throw or be restrained in that cube. Level 2 Druids gain the ability to Wild Shape, turning into an animal that you've seen twice per short or long rest. This allows you to turn into a beast with a CR found in the Beast Shape table. You won't be using this much, but in a pinch, cause the shadows to wrap around you and form into a beast to help avoid how squishy you are in battle. You also gain a Druidic Circle. Choose Circle of the Shepherd. This grants you Speech of the Woods, allowing you to speak Sylvan, as well as communicate and understand the emotions and thoughts of animals. As well, you gain a Spirit Totem. As a bonus action, you can summon an incorporeal animal that grants you various bonuses based on which of the 3 you summon. The spirit lasts for a minute, or until you're incapacitated, and grants effects in a 30-foot radius aura. The bear will grant all in the aura temporary hit points equal to 5, plus your druidic level, as well as advantage on all saving throws and checks. The hawk will grant advantage to perception checks in the aura and allow you to use your reaction to grant advantage to the attack roll of a creature in the aura as well. Finally, the unicorn will cause any healing spells that use a spell slot to also target others within the aura as you wish, as well as granting all allies in the aura advantage on checks used to detect other creatures. For your 4th level 1 spell, take Healing Word to represent that shonen ability to yell at a friend and tell them to get back up, healing them for 1d4 plus your wisdom modifier and hit points. Level 3 druids gain a 2nd level spell. Take Enhance Ability, showing the simple power to amplify yourself or an ally with your precise curse energy control. This can grant a plethora of effects, including advantage on all checks made with the chosen ability score, as well as an additional effect based on the ability enhanced, such as temporary hit points. Level 4 druids gain an ability score improvement. Take +2 to your dexterity, capping it out at 20. This also grants you an additional cantrip and 2nd level spell. Take Mold Earth and flavor it as manipulating the environment through a flawed domain. Combine this with Shape Water for a variety of roleplay effects. For your actual leveled spell, take Hold Person and flavor it as either a summon that bursts into reality through shadow, or by creating shadow bindings and contorting them around the target to tie them in place. Level 5 druids gain their first 3rd level spell, And now you finally have your first tier of summons as you gain your first Shikigami. Take the spell Conjure Animals, which allows you to summon from between 1 to 8 beasts based on what you need in the instance. Use this to summon 2 dire wolves, 1 white and 1 black as your trusty combat summons. Or perhaps you need some flight options and summon a giant eagle, or a trap in the form of a giant white constrictor snake. Casting this at higher levels later allows you to mix and match these options as needed to rule the action economy using multiple summons at once. Now that we have your summons, we're going to bounce back to Monk for its final level. This is a big level for Shadow Monks, as at level 6 you gain key-empowered strikes, causing all unarmed attacks to be considered magical for the point of ignoring immunities and resistances. You've learned to channel your cursed energy through your body passively to enhance all those unarmed blows you like to throw when you don't have a weapon to borrow from your senior mid-fight. Next, your unarmored movement is improved to a bonus of 15 feet instead of 10. You're not as fast or strong as Yuji, but you're no pushover by any means. Finally, you've broken past that psychological barrier of yours and begun to dabble in your shadow arts properly, gaining the Shadow Step feature, allowing you to teleport in dim light or darkness up to 60 foot as a bonus action. This also grants you advantage on your first attack made that turn after its use. Step into your shadows and appear behind the target. Use your hand or summon to make a very nice hole through the chest of your target. With Monk finished off, we're shifting back over to Druid. Level 6 Circle of the Shepherd Druids gain the Mighty Summoner class feature. This causes all beasts and fae you summon to gain an additional 2 hit points per hit die it has, as well as causing all of its natural weapons to be considered magical when dealing damage, just like your new fists. You also gain an additional 3rd level spell. Take Tidal Wave, representing the formation of your incomplete domain to send anything around you flying. Flavor the water as pitch black shadow. Now that your summons are a bit less squishy and a bit harder to hit, and also hit much harder, it's time to finally start building up on those unique talents you hold, blending shadows to empower your magic. Take your next level in Sorcerer. Level 2 Sorcerers gain Fonts of Magic, granting them access to sorcery points. At this level, it will allow you to turn your points into additional spell slots, useful to refill your admittedly limited spell slots. This also grants you an additional first level spell. Take Sleep, representing your ability to channel curse energy into the weaker, less aware targets. Use it to control the situation and also feasibly shut down a single cursed spirit and buy yourself time. Level 3 Sorcerers gain Meta Magic, and this is the core reason we took Sorcerer. This grants you that extra edge to amplify your summons even further, as well as make your other curse techniques much more potent. Take Quicken Spell to change your spells from costing an action to a bonus action, allowing you to summon and attack at the same time in return for 2 sorcery points, something that Megumi is constantly seen doing in every single one of his fights, basically. For your second, take Extended Spell in order to double the duration of your various utility spells and summons as long as they have a duration of at least 1 minute to a maximum of 24 hours for 1 sorcery point. This, combined with your summons and buffs, can be incredibly useful for retaining your spell slots. You also gain a 2nd level spell. Take Shadow Blade, allowing you to summon a solidified finesse magical weapon that deals 2d8 base of the rare psychic damage per hit as a bonus action. Combine this with your multiple attacks and the fact that you can utilize your magical and martial arts alongside it, and even if your summons are no longer an option, you're anything but helpless. While the target is in dim light or darkness, you make the attack with advantage. Combine this with a darkness spell through your shadow arts and your teleportation ability, and you can absolutely devastate your opponents. Now, with Sorcerer capped off, we're switching back over to Druid. Level 7 Druids gain a 4th level spell. Take Conjure Woodland Beings, allowing you to delve into the humanoids that you can summon as well. Specifically, I'd recommend a Meanlock or Sea Hag to diversify your summons a bit. Reflavor them with your DM to alter their appearance, perhaps to fit the theme of cursed spirits just a bit more. Level 8 Druids gain an ability score increase or a feat. In this case, take a feat, specifically the Warcaster feat. You are incredibly reliant on your concentration, and though proficiency in those saves helps, advantage on the checks doesn't hurt anything by any means, and you might find yourself relying it if you're going to wade into the middle of a battle as well. Your wild shape is also improved. I'd recommend talking to your DM about homebrewing this to allow you to simply gain temporary hit points or recover spell slots, but if not, You can reflavor it as a summon of a CR1 creature around yourself made out of shadow. You also gain an additional 4th level spell. Take Hallucinatory Terrain. That's a mouthful. Congratulations, you now have a permanent imperfect domain expansion. Use this to manipulate a 150-foot square into shadow and illusion to mimic dim light for up to 10 minutes, easily long enough to last an entire combat. It's also incredibly useful for non-combat situations if you're creative with its usage, like turning a pool of lava into a pleasantly steaming hot bath until someone dips their toe in and loses their foot. Level 9 druids gain their first 5th level spell. Take Awaken. Use this spell to capture new cursed spirits and awaken them, binding them to your service and becoming new allies that follow you around and assist you in battle. This can be used on any plant or animal with 3 or less intelligence, and grants them 10 intellect instead, as well as granting it 1 language that you know. This awakened animal or plant is then charmed by you for 30 days, and based on how you treated it during that time, it may stay with you. Be warned, it may also attack you, or simply leave. A 10th level Circle of the Shepherd Druid gains the Guardian Spirit class feature. When a beast or fae that you summoned ends its turn within your totem's aura, that creature regains a number of hit points equal to half your druid level for free. This is an incredibly useful benefit when combined with the extra hit points they gain based on their hit die from your Mighty Summoner feature. You also gain an additional 5th level spell and additional cantrip. Take Wrath of Nature and combine it with Hallucinatory Terrain to form a forest into a sea of shadows. Change the vines, branches, and roots to swarms of frogs and wolves to rip and shred the targets within the darkness to bits while you bombard them with attacks and teleportation. For your cantrip, take Druidcraft for a variety of other unique minor effects you can perform with your cursed energy, such as telling the weather, causing plant life to bud, create shadow or a scent, and so forth. Finally, at level 20, take level 11 in Druid. As your capstone, you gain your 6th level spell. Take Conjure Fae, allowing you to now summon your Great Elephant Spirit as a mammoth. As well, summoning it at your single 7th level spell slot that you have could allow you to create a reflavored giant ape with blades stuck to its arms. Who knows? Now that we've hit level 20, how viable is our summoner that also likes to tussle in melee with basically everyone? For strengths, you're going to absolutely dominate the action economy. Monks are already able to do this with even a dip in the class, but at your level, this has evolved to the point you can absolutely dish out the punishment using your actions combined with your plethora of summons that, thanks to your sorcery points, you're able to manifest as a bonus action. Meaning, in one turn, you could theoretically summon 6 direwolves using your 7th level spell slot that all have an additional 10 hit points and a +5 to hit. But with every single one of them giving pack tactics and magic fangs, this is augmented even further. They can all attack, and then you can also attack on top of that. Even at high level, if something gets attacked 6 times, all with advantage, statistically they're going to get hit. If your DM runs with mob rules found in the Dungeon Master's Guide, this can be made infinitely easier with far less rolls, and also makes them far more deadly, and much more reliable on top of that. This isn't mentioning the fact that you also get 2 attacks as well, which are magical, and each can stun, which opens up a whole new window of opportunities with non-wolf summons if you hit and stun, because you could then summon several stronger beasts or fae instead, and use the advantage they all gain from you stunning the target first. Basically, if you combo things right, you're an entire party all by yourself. Not to mention this makes flanking with your party very easy when all your summons can just appear around the enemies. Your utility spells and plethora of cantrips allow you a tremendous amount of versatility outside of combat for all manner of situations. Guidance and resistance to help for your lacking saves and skill checks. Illusions, sound control, and environmental control at will, allowing you to alter numerous situations for your party to turn things into your favor with a bit of creativity. Your totem and buffing spells also allows you for some benefits to supporting your party in battle as well. Finally, even if your summons do get destroyed, and they probably will, due to your other spells for area control combined with spells augmenting your AC and giving you resistance to damage nearly at will, as well as your key points, granting you even further spell flexibility, you have solid combat potential without your summons. Using a Shadow Blade combined with martial arts, key points, shield, and absorb elements is a pretty devastating combination. Not to mention, you can change all your Druid spells as needed for the situations. As Druids prepare spells, they aren't locked into them. Your Sorcerer spells are there to stay, though. Now, when it comes to weaknesses, you have several major issues. The first being how incredibly fragile you are. Assuming fixed hit points, you're rocking a grand total of 119 hit points. Wild Shape can help a bit with that, but it ruins all your other abilities, which is why I recommended talking to your DM. You do have your Sorcerer ability to get up when you hit 0 hit points if you pass a Charisma save, which you have a decent chance of managing, but you can only do that once. You're squishy, which is pretty on brand for Megumi, really. You're also incredibly reliant on concentration spells. Warcaster and a +7 con save helps tremendously with that. But you like to be on the front line despite how fragile you are, and that's really dangerous. In high-level combat, you're going to be hit quite a bit if you don't maximize your mobility and spell slots properly. Honestly, adding some stealth to this character and make them less inclined to be on the front lines would make them far more efficient. But that's not really Megumi. Finally, you're kind of a one-trick pony. It's true that you're decent in hand-to-hand, you have solid utility spells and versatility through sorcerer points and key points. Of course, you also have your summons, which are fantastic options, but you're not actually amazing at any of them. Your strongest summon is a Mammoth, at level 20, and even buffed by your abilities, that's not amazing. Making a mob of summons goes a long way, but only until the big bad drops a single AoE. Some alternative options to this would be to drop the Sorcerer outright and deal with spending your actions to summon without attacking at the same post. Ooh, big whoop. Or, instead of Druid, perhaps going Conjuration Wizard with some Fighter mixed in? But since all your summons are animals and there's not really much wizard-like things for Megumi, it felt really out of character. Basically, because you're decent at 3 different roles, you're not great at any of them. A common issue from anime and comic book builds for characters that want to do so many things at the same time. But that's why you work in a party. That's why you're the leader, the strategist, and you know how important the skill sets of your partners can be. Work with the actual specialist mage to corner your enemies with summons while she debuffs and controls. Fight alongside your frontliner while he uses his dark powers in combination with his far superior hand-to-hand abilities. Cover their weaknesses, manipulate the battlefield, work with your team, and be the glue that holds the 3 of you together against powerful opponents. Just don't be afraid to be greedy sometimes. As always, thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe for more. I do videos on all kinds of Dungeons & Dragons, storytelling, Let's Plays, and various nerd things once to twice a week. If you're interested in my own world, I'd encourage you to check out my Wattpad, which has my first book being released in a per-chapter basis, as well as my Discord, where I run a literate roleplay board and expand the world using World Anvil. I'd like to thank my Platinum patrons, Crom and SPS. Your donations mean the world to me. If you'd like to become a patron to help fund my books, board, or channel, please drop by the link to my Patreon in the description below. I'm also starting to build up a lot of my homebrew that I made for D&D over there on Patreon, if anyone's interested in that. I've been enjoying doing that quite a bit, actually. There's some spells, some races, classes, working on some encounters and monsters as well. Let me know what character build or video you'd like to see next in the comments below. I read them all and reply to as many as I can. As always, I love your input on the things I make. Have an amazing day, everyone. Be safe. Love each other. Goodbye.